Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm here with Kevin Kieller and David Maldow. I think we're all talking or lamenting or enjoying, our last trip to the Biodome. Right? If you've never been to the Gaylord Palms, it's an indoor, perceived to be outdoor. You can see the fountains and everything behind us. But apparently Enterprise Connect has some signs up here that they're going to be in Las Vegas next year, not here in Florida. So that's interesting for a change.
Yeah. I mean, and there's some people that, I don't know, they don't like the Gaylord or maybe they're tired of it. I always like the Gaylord because it's like I'm coming home. I know where everything is.
Well, I was thinking about that.
Now I'm going to be lost.
I'm going to have to have a lunch.
Yes.
I'm planning a lunch with like 900 meetings like you guys do, but I'm planning a lunch with a vendor, and we knew what restaurants, you could try that. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, Vegas is going to be easier to stay for free, but what restaurants do we want to go to? Where are we going to have meetings? What's the spot?
I don't know.
We're starting all over again.
Well, the interesting thing too is they've done some, pretty nice renovations here this year. Yeah. So, but I guess we get to enjoy them for the last year.
We'll have to kiss the crocodiles goodbye.
Oh, there you go.
So we're recording this Sunday night. You're watching it on Monday, and whenever else after that you want to watch it. So the show hasn't started yet, and next week's show will include us. We'll have a wrap up and a couple other people as well about the themes that happen. But what are we expecting to happen over the next couple of days? I know there are some things we were pre-briefed on that we can't talk about. Why don't you give some hints? What kind of news did we hear and are we hearing?
Well, before getting into specifics, I think one big thing that I'm expecting is I'm not expecting anything big. The events have changed. It used to be everyone saved their announcements for events. And I was talking to a vendor a few days ago, and she said, we stopped doing that at the pandemic. We do our announcements when we have our announcements. If we do it at the events, we're competing with everyone else. So yeah, there are some interesting announcements, but I'm used to doing a wrap-up with 37 announcements. We're going to have 5 or 6. So just overall, and I think, by the way, I think that's a good thing. I don't think that takes away from the value. Oh, why go to the show if there's no announcements? There's more reason to go to the show. You can talk about what's going on instead of getting lost in the announcements. You can get the details of the announcements. You can go to the booths and talk about how to work for your company. So I think it's a good thing.
Well, this has always been an interesting show in that there are more analysts here than end users. So the vendors, the exhibitors are here to kind of talk to the analysts, and we all accept that. That's kind of what it's for. But we've been pre-briefed. We know that Cisco's got some interesting announcements coming up in the next day or two. We know Microsoft's going to make a few announcements tomorrow. Ilya Buchman is doing the keynote tomorrow.
That's right.
And I'm already ready to start typing some of the things that I heard that he's going to say. So we got some interesting news. We also heard the news a couple of weeks ago that Mitel is restructuring, right? And most of the analysts think that's a good thing. That they had some debt that they're kind of getting off the books, and they'll be able to move forward faster. What other big news have we heard about in our discussion?
Well, I think to David's point, and I'm between the Davids. It's like the David and Kevin show. I think the point is valid. Like with this agile software release and things in the cloud, I think a lot of what we're going to hear is the themes that we've been hearing. So sometimes, they'll give us the roadmap, and maybe there's a few now that are actually generally available, right? And I've lost track because depending on the version of the
and we were
platform,
counting on you for the Copilot count.
No. And they introduced a new Copilot for the Xbox.
Yes.
So for Copilot,
and I saw another one this morning for something else.
Yeah. So I think we're going to get updates. But it used to be like things were on premises, right? So you had a big server release, and so you baked all these into it. But I think to your point, we're going to be able to have a lot of discussions with other analysts. There's also, I know there's like venture capitalists that come to this show as well, because it's like a heavy vendor and heavy analyst show, right? So I think it's like we're going to have a lot of discussion around what's working with AI. Is AI hype? Is this the agentic AI year?
Did you see Dave's bingo card on agentic?
Yeah, I'm going to show everybody the bingo card where every square is agentic.
You can edit and put it in now so you can see. that is hilarious.
Yeah.
The agentic.
Well, that's the warning that I gave to vendors. If that's their message, it's going to get lost in the noise floor. They're going to have to come out with something different. And I think this whole AI phenomenon that we've talked about at multiple shows that you guys cover, it's going to be very difficult to stand out from the crowd.
Well, and I think when I talk to vendors and kind of work with vendors on their messaging, I think you can say things like our AI is safe, because everybody says that is trustworthy, but then you have to show how you do that, right? So you can't just say AI is agentic and it's going to change the world. I mean, you can say that, but if you don't want to be saying the same thing that everybody else is, then I think you have to say, and this is how we brought that into our product, and you show off, because I think the implementation that the vendors have, everybody has AI assistants, but they work differently, and some do some things really well, and that's what I hope the vendors are smart enough to show off.
I have a different tone this year with agentic than I did with AI. Last year we had a conversation, and you were saying, you think it's more hype than more hype than I thought it was. I don't want to put words.
Right.
And I was saying no, it's there's some hype, but it's mostly agentic. Yes, there's a lot of reality. There's some amazing things being done with agentic, but I'm seeing some hype out there. I'm not going to say which vendor. I was in a vendor briefing within the last few days, and they were asked, what is the difference between this new agentic and your previous iteration of AI? And they defined agentic and they gave the wrong definition. I'm like, that's not what agentic is. I mean, so they're saying things that are agentic that aren't agentic. It's almost getting telepresency, but there is some. When agentic is done right, it's that feeling of I'm having flashbacks. But when agentic is done right, it is going to be worth the hype.
Well, and some of the AI assistants are already doing things like you can create up a Zoom workflow to say summarize this channel and send me the summary, an AI summary at the end of the day, and that already exists. In Google Gemini, you can do some scheduling things. Hey, schedule a meeting between David and I, and if we're both on Google Workspace and we have our calendars, it is able to do that. So some of the vendors are talking about the future and calling that agentic, and other vendors are just actually having AI connected into other systems, right? And what you want is your AI assistant should know all your context, and it should be able to interact with the applications that you use, whether that's your emails, your calendar, your productivity apps. No one is there yet because that's a lot of interconnections. It's
and we've had this debate before. Summarization and generative AI are cool,
right,
and we all use them every day. Even I use them every day, and I have great workflows with them. If I asked any one of the AIs to summarize something and give me a 4-sentence paragraph to do it, it will do it correctly 80% of the time.
Right.
And then I'll have to review it. Is that valuable? I'll leave that to the audience. The point, though, is that a human could do that.
Yeah, but
and
I can't afford to hire one.
They didn't have to, which is the point, but they could. I'm not gaining anything. My session tomorrow morning here at 8 in the morning is about what AI is doing in AV and multimedia that humans can't do. What is it doing? What is the fact that there could have been a microphone all the way on the table on the 3rd floor up there, and it could be recording us, and normally that wouldn't work. But there's so many algorithms you can throw on it. Now that they were able to record another Beatles song with a track of John Lennon's that couldn't be used. That's AI in my mind that's doing things. Or what I've read a couple of articles recently that written, I said both words at the same time, that building management systems and AI in meeting rooms are coming together to take action. Okay, you've got this auditorium booked all day, but if nobody shows up, why turn the lights on? Why turn the air conditioning on?
Right.
Why ask somebody if you should or you shouldn't? Just shut it off until somebody shows up. Look at the money that'll save. And those systems are coming to market, things like that.
But I would say, I think great points, because that is doing things and giving you superpowers. Wake up bright and early and go to the session. But I would say that generative AI is, as well, when it's properly applied, it is helping people deliver things faster. So sometimes, like if you could do a workflow in a minute that would take you an hour, that does change because you couldn't have done it, right? Either from a cost perspective or at a higher quality.
Or it's easier.
Or it just extends. Like if you know nothing about a topic, probably using AI is bad because you don't know if the answer is right or wrong. But if you know about AV and now you ask a question that extends your knowledge to a new product or something, it does a great job. So I think that, generative AI, when you use it to extend your capabilities and you have a foundation, I think it's making, it has a chance of making us more smarter and more productive.
Okay, Dave, 30-second prediction before we wrap this up of what you think your favorite part of this event is going to be.
Oh, hanging out with you guys. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Okay, fine. I'll let you get away with that. What do you think, Kevin?
I think it is the people, but I think it is going to be interesting. I'm going to look to see if any of the vendors in the keynotes or in their discussions take a message and kind of move it forward in a way that it stands out, right? Because I think a lot of the messages are going to sound the same. I'm looking to see if anybody can figure out how to stand out.
Okay. And my favorite part's the half-hour meetings. I've probably got 20 of them scheduled with people that I could do over video, and we're all in the video field, but you know what? We're in the same place. Let's go meet, let's break bread, let's have coffee, let's be human, and let's get some business accomplished. All right, we will come back. Next week's show will be a wrap-up show, but for now, we're here at the Gaylord. It's going to be a fun week. Stay with us. We'll catch you in next week's show.